Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this call to discuss the Q1FY21 earnings for Suven Pharmaceuticals. We have with us Mr. Venkat Jasti, the Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Venkat Raman Sundar, Vice President Corporate Affairs, Mr. Subba Rao, the CFO, Suven Pharmaceuticals. Before we begin, I would like to mention that some statements made in today's discussion may be forward-looking in nature and may involve risks and uncertainties. Documents relating to the company's performance have been mailed to you earlier. I now request Mr. Jasti to share his perspectives on the performance and outlook. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rishabh. Thanks one and all for tuning in to the conference call post the results announcement yesterday of Q1 of 2021. I think as you could see from the results, we have a growth in the standalone, both on the top line and the bottom line. But when you see the consolidation, it is a flattish kind of a thing. And even though there is a growth on the top line, the bottom line is what you call the percentage of profits, not what the people are expecting it to be. And as I was telling in this forum and other forums, you cannot go by like a standard operating procedure, like a regular APIs or something like that, where you can have the same growth pattern, the percentage of profits wise. Depending on the product mix, it keeps changing. So I will not be able to give you any kind of a guidance on that, except saying that we are confident of achieving not less than 40% of the Ebitda. That's the only thing I can say. Other than that, everything is variable depending on the product mix. But we expect things to go in a positive way by the end of the year. When we had this conference call last time, this COVID is not that rampant, but now it is affecting everyone, and especially we're getting some 10 to 15% of the people getting affected, which they will be out of the circulation for 3 to 4 weeks. Luckily, nobody has a serious effects on this COVID-19. And as I was telling last time, because of this COVID, the sourcing of the new projects are very, very weak, and we hope that this will change post the summer holidays there and sometime in September, October time frame. We hope that the things for the new projects will come in. So, in addition to that, I can answer the questions relating to the performance. We have given this time on a corporate action a bonus issue. There is a question why now. There is a question always there will be why now, why not later, why not yesterday. So this is being asked by everybody else all the time, and but we have to wait for the opportune time. The opportune time is now. Is being there is no life sciences part here. Now the merger has taken place. It has taken a new turn, and we have enough reserves to warrant that to be given without affecting any problems in the future. Because you keep asking how the capital allocation also. This is one way to be allocating the capital. I think which you should appreciate it. And other than that, our guidance is there is no guidance per se, because we have only 6 months of visibility. But even at this COVID situation, with the existing project, not getting the new projects, but with the existing projects, we could manage to do not only the volume, but also good profit margins. And we expect the same thing to continue in the second quarter also. And third quarter onwards, we know only partially, and fourth quarter we have a little idea. But in the beginning, we thought we'll make good progress, and I think as of now, with the way things are going, I think even with this trying times under the COVID, we may be able to achieve whatever I was telling, 20% growth in the bottom line and 10 to 15% growth in the top line. And with this, I think I will stop it here, and then I'll look forward to the interaction.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question-answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We take the first question from the line of Anand Bhavnani from Plan Funds. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. I have 3 questions. One is, sir, you have given a breakup of revenues into CDMO Pharma, CDMO Spec Chem, and then formulations. Can you give this breakup for corresponding quarter last year?
Yeah. So the corresponding quarter last year, which, you wanted for the previous year, right?
Yeah, both sequentially you can give, that is Q4FY20 as well as Q1FY20.
Yes.
I'll ask my second question in the meanwhile. Yeah, sir, since you give breakup as Pharma, Spec Chem and formulations, is it safe to assume that Spec Chem is largely agrochemical in nature? Because that's typically how most of the players in our industry kind of focus on Spec Chem.
Yeah, it is 90% that way, agrochemical.
Okay. And another question I had was, sir, you had mentioned about improving our management bandwidth in previous con calls as well. So just wanted to check if there's any update, and are you carrying forward that plan of improving management bandwidth as we scale up Suven Pharma?
Yes, we are in the lookout, but the COVID has changed the perspective, and it's getting delayed, and our concentration is more on the operational thing at this time, so we have put that for a little bit to delay on that, but we are always on the lookout, and it will be done sooner or later.
Okay. And lastly, we have seen that in Indian CDMO space, a lot of players have been able to get multi-year contracts where they kind of jointly work with an innovator on a dedicated facility. So are we exploring any of those kind of business models where we have dedicated facilities for some innovator?
See, there is different connotations for the CDMO business. If you are doing a developmental business, there is no question of anybody getting any long-term contract. Only when it becomes a commercial angle, then it becomes a long-term contract. It's more or less, it's like an API or any other, like a Spec Chem. When it becomes commercial, you have that intermediate or whatever it may be. Our Spec Chem is a dedicated unit only for that 2 products, and that's going on. So as far as the developmental concern in the pharmaceutical thing, it will not be a dedicated, you will not have a long-term contracts. It's all based on the success of the molecule, the next order comes in. Only when it goes into the, commercial, you will have it's not a contract, it is unwritten contract. There is no contract written in the beginning of the relationship when we start particular project. Because after phase 2, when we supply some molecule, we are one of the 2 or 3 sources that they will have. And they will continue all these 3 sources until the end of the patent. The only way you lose out your business is even though there is no contract. If you are not able to meet their quality requirement, you are not able to meet their timeliness, and if you are not able to meet the regulatory compliances, and you are not able to meet the costing or something like that. Otherwise, it is a long-term contract, not a hidden contract, but it's a long-term agreements we have, and a supply agreements we can call it. I mean, quality agreements, more or less. Not supply agreements, they're quality agreements based on those developmental projects from the beginning itself.
Sure, sir. So my question, if I were to now, give an example, it was more of like on Syngene model. Syngene had a dedicated center for BMS, Amgen, so, and that has discovery and analytics kind of services. So I was wondering if we can do, or if we are thinking of doing anything of that sort. Is that an area option for us?
Not at this time.
Sure. Just curious if data for the first question is available. The breakup of.
Yeah, 92 crores the Pharma, CDMO, Specialty Chemicals 100 crores.
Yeah.
And the other services, formulation and other services. Those time, we had about contract technical services. It was about 6.69, 7 crores you can take it as. Total is about 199.
This is for Q1 FY20, right?
Correct. And
what would be for Q4 FY20?
Q4 FY20 was 91, 81, and 20, and 19.
19.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll come back in the queue for additional questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants, please limit your question to 2 per participant. You may rejoin the question queue if you have a follow-up. The next question is from the line of Ankush Agarwal from Stallion Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you for taking my question, sir. Just 2 questions. Firstly, can you give the color on our A&D pipeline in terms of total filings? And
Ms. Agarwal, I'm so sorry to interrupt. May I please request you to speak a bit louder?
Hello. Is it better now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So my first question would be towards our A&D pipeline. If you can give some color on the total filings and how many are commercial as of yet. And secondly, sir, we have been speaking about moving from intermediates to API and formulations. So just wanted to know what kind of value addition are we looking at when we move from, say, API from intermediates to an API and then from API to formulation. If you can give some color on that. Thank you.
Yeah, the ANDAs total filed 9 for the ANDAs and 2 ANDAs, that is the animal new drug applications. Okay. And out of that, the one is a very old one, which is going on for the last 5 years. And this year we have started 2 supplies, and 1 more will go before the end of the year. And there will be 5 more under development, which we would like to file it within 12 to 18 months.
Okay, so total 3 are commercial as of yet, right?
Yeah. These, as you know, ours is not a blockbuster candidates we choose. So we choose very niche, small volume things, much less competition is existing. The second question is
value addition from.
The value addition. See, what we are saying is in the CDMO place, when we are doing the developmental aspects, N-1 or N-2. People are now looking into expanding that operation into the additional. So if I'm doing N-2, I'm going to the next N-1. And if I'm doing N-1, there is a possibility that the API itself can be outsourced. They have that willingness to do that, and in that process, we will be moving into that one. That means it's a value addition naturally. If you are doing instead of a 3-4 step process, you are doing a 10-15 step process. So this is a value addition, and the profit will be there. But that will be is a long drawn process. It's a developmental compounds. These are not the generics which we are talking about.
Yes.
And the ANDAs I'm going to develop, these are the things which are already expiring, about to expire. Those are the things, nothing to do with the NDAs, I mean LCE-based ANDAs.
Yes. My question was little directed towards the fact that, like, what kind of valuation, for example, say 20%, 30%, what kind of value addition are you looking at when we move from a, say, intermediate to an API? If you can give some color on that.
Yeah, we are not gone to that far, and when it goes, it will be about 30 to 40% value addition will be there in the times of the value that goes up, and naturally, based on the value addition on the top line, the bottom line will be also accretive.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abdul Puranwala from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So my first question is in relation to the top line numbers of 1QFY20. So a pharma division had close to 39% growth in this quarter. And based on your commentary, it looks like it would be largely from the commercial molecules. So would that be right to assume that the commercial molecules would have been, the growth would have been quite superior as compared to what we have done previously?
I mean, that is your guess, but what I'm saying, I'm not giving you the differentiation between the commercial and the, because we're talking about only the overall growth potential. And this keeps changing. It's a quarter-on-quarter basis. I think if you go drill into these things and then you come back and ask why it's not happening and why it's not happening. So we are just restricting ourselves to the grants, which is a multitude. So it's a combination of phase 2, phase 3, and the commercial altogether, and it will keep changing from quarter on quarter.
And so the second question is in relation to the guidance of 15% on the top line. So this would be on the standalone entity, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, please. I think I want to bring one clarity here. People are all bent upon this consolidation of the things, which is our only one subsidiary's investment into a rising pharma, which is ours as an investment. I'm not getting any money into this place, and I have no knowledge until the results come from what is their thing. It is only the portion of that 25% we are reporting it here. That is also keeps changing, and that's not accreting anywhere until we get the what you call the dividend payout. So whatever I talked is mainly the standalone, not mainly, always the standalone. Because it's a reporting requirement, we are reporting it. And I think people read too much into it as if we are getting that into our kitty. I think that's what the understanding has to be changed on that part. That's what my submission.
Sure, sir. And so just last one more question. So what would be the status of the new Vizag facility, and when would we be able to commercialize that plant?
Yeah, this COVID has delayed the civil part of it, and I think we are supposed to have by the end of the year calendar. Now it will be before the end of the fiscal, that is March. Then it will be commercialized.
Mr. Puranwala, the audio is breaking up, sir. We are unable to.
I think he's done.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankit Gupta from Bamboo Capital. Please go ahead.
For the opportunity. Sir, like till last quarter we had 4 molecules which had been commercialized on the pharma part. So has there been any any more molecules which have moved to the commercial stage as of now, and how many molecules do we have under phase 3 currently?
Yeah, we have. I think this is third time I'm telling. 3 conference calls. So we have dispensed away with the telling the number of molecules and various phases, whether anything has moved into the other one or not. This is a mix of the pharma trials which we are reporting, and that will be the only thing we can talk about this right now.
Sure, sir. But sir, do you expect any more molecules moving into commercial stage over the next year or two? If you can just highlight that and your views on that.
I mean, we are always looking for the molecules to move from stage to stage. And as I said, we do not have any idea until the actual thing that happens in the clinical trial.
Sure, sir. And sir, just on the CDMO pharma side, because of the shift which is happening from China to India, do you expect any commercialized CRAMS molecule moving from one of the innovator supplier to us, do you think that is also a possibility for Indian CRAMS companies like us?
If you are in the NC-based activities, unlikely. Okay, if you are based on the generic based, maybe likely, but I have no knowledge of that.
Sure. It normally doesn't happen for the CRAMS company. Is it like that?
Yeah, but CRAMS also, everybody says CRAMS in different meaning, okay? Whether you are doing to the generic-based CRAMS and or it is based the MC-based CRAMS or the matured CRAMS, it's a contract research. Anything can be called contract research, right? So it depends on this, what kind of molecules you are doing. So as I said, for MC-based molecules, the likelihood of changing is very remote.
Sure. And sir, on the generic underside, any new approvals that we have got in past 3-4 months? And how many approvals do we expect in FY21 and FY22?
As I mentioned in a few minutes ago, one is an old one, continuing one. 2 we have just supplied, and one more is likely to be supplied before the end of the year, and 5 are under development for filing.
Sure. Okay. And out of that, how many do you expect to commercialize in FY22?
We expect 3 to 4, but the only thing is nowadays with this slowness and filings can happen late also, and until the FDA approvals also taking late. So we cannot guarantee anything at this time, but we're only trying to file 5. How many of them will mature into, we don't know yet. I mean, unlike before, we cannot really predict.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohan Advant from Multi-Act. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Sir, my question is on the ANDAs again. I just wanted to understand that you had said you started commercial supplies of 2 ANDAs in this quarter, and you have a profit share model. So does it work this way that you supply the ANDAs on a cost plus basis to the customer, and the profit share is later on shared when that customer actually offloads that stock in the market? And so the profit share might yet to be accrued for these ANDA supply. Is that how it is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So while this quarter has had the cost plus part of that ANDAs, the profit share is yet to flow into our P&L for the ANDAs, right?
That's right.
Okay. And sir, my second question again is on the contract technical services, which is 13 crores this quarter, which would have some part of ANDAs also. While there is a YOY increase, sequentially it was 19, which has come down to 13. So why is there so much, lumpiness in that business on a quarterly basis?
As I said, it is mainly the services that are, services takes 4 to 6 months for the billing, and not every quarter we can bill it. So it can be accumulated and suddenly it goes into 1 quarter for the whole 6 months or 9 months work. So it keeps changing, but at the end of the year it will come to the averaging out. Okay.
And sir, lastly on Rising, and I totally understand you don't have exact color on profitability until they publish the results, but qualitatively, if you could just throw some light on how this investment has shaped up. You've turned profitable, very soon after the investment. Is there any COVID-specific impact? Like I believe they were the large distributors of HCQ, and has that helped? Is there any one-off? This is more sustainable qualitatively. Thank you, sir.
I mean, we don't know that also is cyclical in nature, and if suddenly a new ANDA is launched by the Rising with the partner thing, that quarter the valuation and the top line and bottom line may be better. But quarter on quarter we cannot tell, and I cannot tell how the HCQ has gone and all that stuff at this time.
Okay. Yeah. And sir, on this profit share, now it will start accruing from this quarter onwards, is it?
Yeah, as I said, these are a small volume, very small volume, and the niche molecules. Yes, it should start accruing.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and all the best for the remaining quarters. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Cinderella Carvalho from Centrum Broking. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. And sir, congratulations on good set of numbers. So just want to understand from you, how should we look at the opportunity-wise? How are we placed in terms of the NCE CRAM segment? What is your thoughts on that, and what is the current trend? Have we seen any further opportunities coming our way? And if yes, then what is our preparation level for that in terms of technology and abilities to expand further?
Cinderella, you very well know the trends that are happening, especially before COVID looks everything rosy. I also told in February time frame that people are expanding their things like if we are supplying, N-2, then they are going to the next level and then to API itself. Similarly, on the backward integration also, if we can offer something in the early stage also, they are willing to come because of the relationships the people like Suven has built with the customers. That trend was there. But as I was also telling you, since the COVID, the new projects are not coming that much, and it's very, very anemic at this time because not many people are concentrating the new project development. They're only managing the old projects. I said it may happen post-summer holidays after they come back in September timeframe. I think they start looking into that activity, and it will certainly come back. There will be a gap of these last 6 months, which will be eventually built up. So that's the way the trend is going now.
That's very helpful, sir, and very confirming. And sir, if I have to say that in this particular quarter, Q1, are we seeing some more additional contributions from the early phases this quarter? Just looking at the gross margin and trying to relate it. So if you could help me understand.
See, the gross margins is because of the changes in the gross margins is because of the product mix. If you have a value-added product that quarter, you will have high gross margins, and if it is a regular, most of the projects are there, number of projects which we have done, essentially the volume is there, but the gross margins will be less, especially if you have the early stage projects. So that's the way it's panning out too.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to clarify, the early stage molecules. Okay, sir, thank you so much. All the very best, and we look forward to your next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mithun Aswath from Kiva Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to understand what is the current cash on the balance sheet, and has all the payments to Suven Life Sciences been made so far, or anything still pending?
See, the money payable to Suven Life Sciences will happen over a period of 2 to 3 years. In the sense, actually, we have marked about 42 crores to be payable this year. The balance was 91 crores, which was payable in the long term. That's what we said earlier. Of which, right now we have a total cash balance payable to Suven Life Sciences about 115 crores. That is the in relation to the liability for payable. And when it comes to the cash position, we have 40 crore cash at this point of time.
Okay. During the demerger process, why hasn't the cash which was due to Suven been made at one go? Because I think there was cash in the balance sheet at that point, right?
The Suven Life Sciences doesn't require the cash, and Suven would like to use that for the ongoing CapEx building without taking loans on that, and which we are paying market-based loans only. Is one and the same. Either I borrow it from the CapEx from the outside, or take it from the existing one and pay as we go by on a reducing balances.
Sure, sir. And for Suven Life Sciences, what would the annual requirements be for the R&D?
That will keep changing depending on the nature. Where the projects are and whether it's in phase 2 or starting new ones are starting, something like that. But this money will be there for 12 to 18 months till it will surface for the Suven Life.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sarvanan from Unifi Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks for taking my question. So I'm just reconfirming the specialty chemical segment. You had mentioned that this year 2 more would be commercialized. Is that on time?
No, I didn't say that. I said 2 are under development. 1 more will be commercialized in 2021 time frame.
Okay. And as regards formulations, 2 ANDAs have been commercialized in Q1, and within the end of the year, again, you would add another 3 more. Is that the plan?
No, another 1 more, that makes it 3.
Okay. The total 3 for this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And any comment on the CapEx, sir? CapEx guidance?
No, we have spent about 30 crores towards CapEx in this quarter out of the 120 crores which we are supposed to spend based on the earlier allocation of 320 crores which we already spent about 190 plus crores, 196 crores spent up to the end of last quarter what we have said. Balance 90 crores to be spent.
Originally, this amount is supposed to be spent before the end of the calendar year.
Yeah.
Now, because of the COVID, some delays are happening, and this will be spent before the end of the fiscal.
FY21, it will be closed.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ranveer Singh from Sunidhi Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. So one thing, I was hearing your comment that in the CRAMS space we are servicing existing clients. But for last few weeks, I have been seeing in news that now the clinical trials activities has picked up, and in last 3-4 months, most of recruitments were almost at halt. Now they have started seeing a signs of more recruitments are happening. So in this scenario, are we not looking at increased activities in our CRAMS space and CRAMS business?
We are always looking for the increased activity. But what you are saying is now that clinical has resumed, that means for the existing molecules only, that no new developmental molecules coming up. At very early stage molecules are not yet started prioritizing. These are the existing molecules which stopped due to the COVID, the recruitment, their recruitment started. Those projects which we have already gone in the early stage are still there with us. And for the new ones, I was telling, it's taking because it's very anemic at this time because there is no new early stage molecules has been sourced lately, which I think will start coming post-September.
Okay. And secondly, on Vizag facility, what's the OPEX currently we are doing?
Vizag,
the CapEx is 100 crores.
No, I'm OPEX. I'm asking that what currently we are spending on for maintaining.
We are not providing the split of the unit-wise split. We are not segment-wise. We are not trying to provide.
Okay, so by end of when facility would be commercial, obviously capex should go up from. So what would be the capex? Because next 1 year you have to whatever spending you are doing that have to be added with the capex you have already done.
Correct.
So what would be amount then by the time this facility gets commercial?
By end of the year, we'll be spending a balance about, we have earmarked about 320 crores for 3 different type of capex, which includes PL4 facility in Pashamylaram, and then the Vizag facility and the formulation facility, of which we already spent close to 200 crores. About 220 crores. So the balance will be spent about close to 100 crores certain about this year, FY21.
Okay. And just a quick one on other expenses. You see, in this quarter, in absolute amount is also sequentially lower. So, where we have saved money?
No. I mean, this is like, it keeps changing.
Okay. Fine. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Gokul Maheshwari from Arjava Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my question. Are you facing any supply disruptions with respect to your meeting customer requirements or production requirements?
Yeah, there are logistics problems, especially last couple of months. I think they are now streamlining. In the beginning, April, May, we have a problem, but now they are streamlining. And there are occasional supply disruptions are also taking place, not only because of the COVID, but also due to some other reasons like pollution and all that stuff in China and all that stuff. These are ongoing, not only today, but COVID has a little bit aggravated that, but that's now coming back to the normalcy.
Right. And with respect to the ANDAs which have been launched, you had mentioned in the past that you're looking at the size of around $2 to $4 million. Is this still in the ballpark, the similar range, based on the initial feedback which you've received?
Yeah, it will be more or less that only. It cannot be more than that. We're not choosing anything which is a bigger size as of now. But as the time goes by, we will see what kind of value addition also we can bring into the ANDAs by doing the different routes and all that stuff which we are developing. And first we want to get into those steps and get to the this activity. So we chose those things which are small volumes and easily manufactured and developable. Okay. But the complex things we are in the process of developing, which takes a couple of years before we can talk about it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Lastly, on Rising Pharma, I understand you're constrained in terms of just being an investor, but in the past you've mentioned that roughly it's around 12 to 15 crores of contribution on profits for a quarter. And I don't want to go into a quarter, but on an annual basis, you're looking more like a 50 crore kind of a contribution from them?
That's what the guidance given by my partners. And when we said whatever the number that they have done, and we are taking that into kind of a thing. But it's always a possibility to go 10% down or 10% up on this business kind of things. And this is no fast and hard rule on that one. But as you could see, that's what it is going. This quarter is only 10 crores. So it's quarter on quarter also there will be difference. It can be 20 crores some other quarter, maybe 15 crores or 10 crores or 8 crores. I mean, it keeps changing, but it should be in that range. It's 10% this way or that way.
Great, sir. Great. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vivek from GS Investment. Please go ahead.
भेज दीजिए मार्केट मत मारिएगा
Mr. Vivek from
Yes,
GS Investment, your line is unmuted. You may please go ahead with your question. As there's no response from the current participant, we take the next question from the line of Hiten Barucha from Suven Investment. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. So just one clarification. You mentioned that our guidance is 10% growth in top line and 15% in bottom line. Am I correct?
Yeah, I said 20% on the bottom line actually, 10 to 15% on the top line.
20% in bottom line, right?
That's right.
Okay. And this would be for FY21?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Picha from Multi-Act. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, sir. In September, we had said that we have 2 launches in the pipeline. And of this, you said one we will be able to launch in FY21 itself. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the second one will come next year.
Possible.
Okay. And sir, on this new project actively being annexed, so on that, suppose if we are not able to have discussions with customers right now and new projects are not flowing, that would impact our business for maybe next year or a year after that, or it does impact our business this year as well?
Not because the early stage, there is a gestation involved, so that revenue-wise it may not impact, but it may impact maybe fourth quarter or next year, something like that, a little bit, because early stage the volumes and values and bottom lines are very less, but without having the early stage projects, you will not have the later stage project anyway. That's what we're trying to say. Since there will be a 6 months gap of acquiring the projects.
Okay. Okay. And so once the discussions are regularized, it is also possible that you could gain more business in a less period of time for whatever was not discussed during this period when the last 6-8 months the problems were there.
I cannot assume that, and it all depends on the customer, right? So if they are taking too many things on their platter and giving it out, so it will be more than happy to take it, but it's all depending on them.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sarvesh Gupta from Maximal Capital. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I could not understand the economics for the ANDA molecules where you said that you have booked cost for this quarter but not the profit share. So if you can help us understand, like, how much of revenues are these ANDA molecules going to generate, what can be the share for us, and how does the booking happen in terms of the cost and profits in the coming quarters?
When we sell send the product on a cost plus basis, that means you are actually just getting your cost back. When the profit share means after they sell and after they net out all the expenses, then depending on the profit, whether you are getting 20%, 25%, 30%, 40%, whatever it is, that share of net profits will be flowing to you. Usually there will be a gap of 3 to 6 months because it has to go there and they have to load the pharmacies and they have to sell and they have to get the revenues back, and then they get netted out and all that stuff. It takes time. So when that profit share comes in, it will come and join here. Until that time, it is only the cost of goods sold is represented in the formulations.
Okay, and what can be the margins in such a business?
I said the net profit margins anywhere from 20 to 50% depending on the molecule.
Okay, and how much cost have we booked in this quarter for this?
There is nothing like cost here. There is various things over here, and the formulations will be around 4 crores only.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sri Hari from PKS Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So you have 4 commercial molecules on the pharma side and one still under patent in the specialty chemical side. Can you please give us an idea about the current market size and how do you see these molecules panning out? Thank you.
See, the market size has no relevance of our, because unlike before, 10, 15 years ago, there is some estimation of how much you can be. Nowadays, the cost of goods are very minuscule in the new chemical entities. And moreover, we are getting only the raw material, one of the raw materials, that is intermediate. It's not the final product itself. So it's highly possible for me to correlate between the market share of value and the amount of business we can do. What we are reporting is only the growth that is happening on a quarter-on-quarter basis and mainly year-on-year basis.
Could you please at least tell us, how the molecules are faring, in terms of growth?
Yeah, they're okay. They're because we're getting the repeat business, and out of the 4 molecules, 2 are doing well and 2 are doing okay.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Charulata Vedani from Dalal & Broacha. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my question pertains to, can you give an idea in terms of the number of projects that you are working on currently in CRAMS?
We have dispensed away with giving the number of various molecules at various stages, and we are only giving general pharma CRAMS business growth. Because it doesn't have any relevance, because if a molecule which is in phase 1, if I supply a quantity now, there is no guarantee that it will come back. Even if it comes, how long later it will come. So reducing information on that basis is very difficult. So that's why we are, after the demerger, we thought this is the right way to go about it, talking about the overall growth. Not because we cannot guarantee anything on this fact, because it's all success of the molecule.
Okay. And or if you could give an idea on the number of molecules and number of customers.
We do about 60 to 70 projects per year, active projects per year. And it will be around 40 customers, roughly.
Okay. Fine. And 60 to 70 active projects. Okay. So over the next 2 to 3 quarters, do you expect to maintain similar revenue growth?
I gave a revenue growth of 10 to 15%. That can be not on a quarter-on-quarter basis. That's on a year-on-year basis, because this is highly fluctuating. So you cannot, because they're all, as I said, it's a success-based and stage-based revenues that accrues to us. So we cannot give you quarter-on-quarter, but we can only give you just estimate on based on the past performance and the existing information that is available, because our visibility is only 6 months from now. We are talking about 10 to 15% growth overall.
Okay. Okay. And my question pertains to the Government of India KSM scheme for the PLI scheme for key starting materials to reduce dependence on China. Are you contributing anything to this, or do you have any plans for getting into?
Yes, sir, no, because the Government of India, they talk heavily, but when it comes to the activity, they don't do much. And this started not today, it was done 4 years ago, and they have given evidence. Even now, they are talking about they should encourage people who has the capability to do it, rather than saying you go to a greenfield, you spend 2 to 3 years before you can come back to the commercialization and all that stuff. So not many people are going to show interest. As I am doing, I myself, some of the molecules where the dependency is there, we are trying to do backward integration ourselves. Since we are not into the APIs, we are doing only those NCE-based intermediates for which some raw materials are required. We are doing some backward integration to reduce the dependence, but not much like an API. So this is a long drawn process.
Okay. And how much is Suven Pharma's dependence on China?
Everybody is dependent, and our total raw material cost is from China is less than 8% or so.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Varun Arora from Safe Enterprise. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity. My question is related to last participant's last question regarding be focusing on N-2 products and we are endeavoring to get into N-1 and N molecules. Is that the correct understanding? I think the same was...
See, we are always interested in going to the total API all the way, NC-based API all the way. But the thing is, until now, the customers who are giving us the intermediates for development, they are either giving the N-1 or N-2. Now they are willing to go to the next step of qualifying us for the next level also. That mindset change has happened, which we are trying to take advantage of because of our relationship, because of our regulatory compliances, and because of our capabilities and the creationally capacities and all. And it will be over a period of time. It will not be over within next 3 to 6 months. It will take a couple of years before you can see an activity fructifying into that. This is a trend that is happening. That's what I am articulating.
Sure. So, sir, we are basically working, like we are in the dialogue stage right now, and we don't have any project in hand for the API.
No.
Right. And regarding the guidance that you've given, I know you've mentioned that it's always difficult to predict, when the molecule will go into commercial stage. But the guidance that you're giving, that's based on the existing orders that you already have, and that is not baking into any major success, which may come, but you're not baking it in your guidance.
No, you cannot pick any success. It is based on the existing things and the normal inflow of the projects. That's what it is.
Right. So we are baking in some sort of contribution from the incremental orders, which may pick up from September onwards.
Yeah, but that will not give you that much value. That is a long-term value proposition, but not immediately accruing to you. That will give you small tens of thousands of dollars, not much. And the bottom line at that time will be less, because in the early stage your small values, and also you do a lot of R&D before you get to a manufacturing stage. As the project moves into the later stages only, then you will get more bottom line accretion.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants again, please limit your question to 2 per participant. Next question is from the line of Harsha from Case Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Can I know the revenue contribution from the commercial products? What is the revenue from the commercial products?
We are not giving you that section. We are only giving you the total number of molecules grams on the pharmaceutical grams.
Sir, what may be the stable income, stable revenue? Can we imagine the same thing for the next quarter also, the revenue, if there is no incremental orders?
Yeah, that 10 to 15% growth is there. I said it's not quarter on quarter. Please bear in mind, I cannot give anything on quarter. It is on year basis only, because this keeps changing, and I cannot give. It's not a product where I sell, so I can give you some kind of an estimate. These are all the success-based molecules, and based on the existing orders and the customers' inputs, we are giving you a guidance, but it's not a real guidance. Sometimes it may boomerang and go down by 5% also at the end of the year. But right now we are saying 10 to 15% growth for the total year.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amar More from AlfAccurate Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. This is Amar here. So first thing is that last quarter we mentioned something around 15 to 20% kind of a growth guidance, right? So are we trimming our guidance by 5% point?
15%, 20% on bottom line. I'm talking now top line. The bottom line is 20% still.
Okay. So this is top line guidance of 10 to 15%.
Right.
And sir, yeah. And sir, in this quarter, is it some orders were more forward ended rather than the back ended? That is why you had seen a 20% kind of a growth, but ultimately on a full year basis, it will be like 10-15% kind of a growth? Is it like project got pushed forward, something like that?
Yeah, they were telling all the time, you cannot go by quarter on quarter. Sometimes we got one order of 3 million. If it's going into the next one quarter goes high and this quarter goes low. So you don't go by that. You just go by the year-on-year basis. So there will be gaps.
And sir, we were looking for one more commercial product. So that is also likely to commission, or it has already.
We are not looking for any commercial products. I mean, it has to move based on the success of the molecules in the clinical trials. As I said, we are not giving any dissection of which molecule and when it is going to go into there, because when it goes into commercial, then again, whether it's coming into the repeat business in the 3 months from now or 6 months from now, it's very difficult. Hence, we are dispensing away with giving the guidance on that basis other than the total guidance.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Purvi Shah from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. Sir, my question is related to one is if you could give us the exact gross debt figure for as on 30th June.
We didn't hear you properly.
Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear it. Can you repeat it? I could not hear properly what I said.
Yeah. Some question is regarding the gross debt number. If you could give us the exact number at the end of 30th June.
What exact number you want?
Gross debt.
Debt.
No, gross debt is only the money payable to Suven Life Sciences, which is about 115 crores that is payable.
If you say net debt, it is 75 crores.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So we've said, if I've heard you correct, 42 crore is to be paid in FY21, or is it already paid?
It's not paid.
Okay, so this 115 crore includes the 42 crore that is yet to be paid.
Okay, let me explain this.
Yes.
We had at the beginning of the year total money payable to Suven Life Sciences 133 crores. Right now, we have 115 crores payable to Suven Life Sciences.
Okay.
We earmarked the 42 crores for payable during the year based on the requirement from Suven Life Sciences. If it goes up, we'll pay off the balance. If it comes down, whatever it is actually. That is remaining as a debt in our book until we pay them.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Suhas Nayak, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. I have two questions. The first one is regarding our CRAMS model, where we are in the intermediate stage right now. How scalable is this model? What size it could assume over the next 3-4 years? If you can throw some light on that. And second question is about as Suven Life is dependent on us for the support, cash flow support. Do you have any plans to raise equity in Suven Life, either at the molecule stage or at the company level? Thank you.
Suven Life is not dependent on Suven Pharma. Suven Life is an independent company, and Suven Life has lent money to Suven Pharma, which we are going to pay it whenever they need it. As far as the fundraising is, yes, it will be done in Suven Life when it is the appropriate time. So that's a different forum to talk about it. With respect to the scalability, yes, it is scalable. We have no problem in scaling up. We have done earlier. It is only the success of the molecule that gives us the business. So it is a matter of 6 months before we can put additional requirements of the balancing equipment as needed for the success of the molecule that comes in. And we have more than enough time given to us by the innovators because we have enough time for that to be built and expand our business. So scalability is not a problem. And 4 or 5 years from now, if the more molecules in the pipeline goes to the commercial angle, it can double also, but we cannot tell that because we have the visibility of only 6 months. And the success of the molecules, neither my customer knows nor I know because it's all the success at the clinical trials.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mayur Damani, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you for giving an opportunity to speak today. And first of all, I want to congratulate Mr. Jasti and team for continuing the growth momentum. Many people take it differently, but I have been with Suven from 2010 June, and I have seen the price of rupees 30, and now it is somewhere around 650, 700 odd. So 20x in 10 years is a very good wealth generation. So I just want to now tell, after the recent demerger, means in March 2020, means there is a confusion among the minds of my friends, relatives, everybody means as to what falls under Suven Life and what falls under Suven Pharma, though it is very clearly mentioned in the investor presentation and others. So I have recently seen the new website of suvenpharm.com as well, and it is clearly mentioned there. And I just suggest to Mr. Jasti and team to expedite this process. And in few of the areas, I can see that few sections are coming soon. The website is not up yet full. So Suven.com will continue as SuvenLifeSciences.com, and SuvenPharm.com is for Suven Pharma. I just want this clarification.
Yes, SuvenPharm.com is the Suven Pharma, and Suven.com is Suven Life Sciences. And you brought a good question about this, what stays in Suven Life and what stays in Pharma. And we have been mentioning exactly Suven Life Sciences is a thing where you need to spend money right now, and there is no guarantee there is a success at the end of the tunnel until it becomes a success at the clinical trial. So is there money burning affair as of today and this Suven Life, which eventually will give you the success based on the success of the molecule at the clinical trial. Whereas the Suven Pharma, which is the revenue generating business model. Whatever the R&D we do, we still do. That is goes into the, even the pricing of the molecule. So we don't have a separate R&D expense which we write off. Put somewhere only as we mentioned in the balance sheets. But there is no. We have unlike. There is a guarantee that these things will go into the commercial angle, and that will be giving you the revenue. This is a revenue model. The other one is there is no guarantee. The R&D which you spend is sunken money, and only success of the clinical trial will give you the money. Here, success of the R&D is automatically supply the molecule at least for that stage. And if that stage passes, again we supply the molecule, product. Like that it happens. So Suven Pharma is a pure revenue generation model. All the revenue burning model is kept in the innovation, kept in the Suven Life Sciences.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Joe Samuel from Georgette Finance. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. I just had a question on the Ebitda margins, which had gone down a bit during this quarter. So, just briefly, what would you attribute that fall in margin?
Product mix. You cannot gauge, like if it's a regular product, I'm going day in, day out, I can tell you it's gone down, what is the Ebitda margin. But when it is different products, 30 to 40 products in a quarter, and then depending on the stage where they are in, how much R&D costs that are sunk, and all those things comes in the picture. But at the same time, you have to see on a year-on-year basis. And our guidance of plus 40% EBITDA margins is what it is. It can vary quarter to quarter.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That's all from my end.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Darshit Shah, Nirvana Capital. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. If I may ask a question on Suven Life. Sir, I understand that we have got some very good reports on the Suven 502 molecule on the neuropsychiatric symptoms. So, sir, what's the stage ahead for that? Are we going to meet the FDA to recommence the clinical trials for some neuropsychiatric symptoms for that molecule? And sir, second on the G3031, do we expect it the trials to end on December as what we had communicated earlier, or do we expect some delay in that? Thank you.
Yeah, even though it's not a part of this thing, I can give you the update on that. 3031, there is a delay of 3 to 4 months because of the COVID. We are only now, as the other, participant has enumerated that the clinical trial has started now. Similarly, our 3031 also started. Instead of that, I think if it goes more or less up to March 31st, we'll be lucky if that ends that day because of this delay. With respect to the 502, yes, it has some, as I mentioned in various con calls, and that 502, even though it failed to meet the primary endpoint, but on the secondary endpoint, especially as the psychiatric disorders and the agitation aggression, what you were mentioning, is a very good data. Based on that, we are in touch with the key opinion leaders from Europe and the USA, and we are finalizing a thought process and a protocol which will be submitted to the US FDA within the next couple of months. But going further to do the clinical trial proof of concept next, based on that data that is already existing. So yes, it is up in the process, and in the time it takes to be 4 to 6 months.
Great, sir. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Paris Botra from Ashika Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. This question pertains to Rising Pharma. Can you briefly give us an update that what could be the contribution from Rising Pharma to Suven Pharma for the whole year as such? And what it was for this quarter?
I can give you no guide. I cannot give you any guidance. I can give you only numbers, which is given quarter-on-quarter basis, because it is an investment for us, and what we were only showing as a consolidation, it's not accruing to us because it's not a dividend. So, and I'm not running that, so I cannot give you any guidance.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anand Bhavnani from Bland Funds. Please go ahead.
Sir, two follow-up questions. One is with respect to Rising Pharma. I see that we have now shown, profits for a couple of quarters. As of today, has our experience with Rising been better than or as expected when we put in the money last year in March?
The reason we put the money, everybody doubted that it will survive. And in the first year itself, it made money. And it keeps making money. And there is no second thoughts on it. And it's a long-drawn process, and it is a long-term investment, period. It is an investment.
Yeah, and this investment, as of today, would you say it's performing better than your expectation or as to your expectation?
As per the expectations.
Okay. And sir, with respect to the formulations, you mentioned 4 crore of revenue in Q1, which is purely the cost because profits will come later. So, is it safe to assume that from
that also includes the royalty of the existing molecule?
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ankush Agarwal from Stalin Asset. Please go ahead.
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity again. So just one clarification on the ANDA side. We were expecting Rising to contribute, like from the Rising, we should get 2-3 ANDAs every year. So how is it progressing on that side?
Yeah, when they develop new things and if it fits into our scope of things, then they'll come to us. And we are already doing co-development of 3 ANDAs with the customer.
Okay. All right. That would be all.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vivek from GS Investment. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I missed my earlier question, sir. And now the questions from my side is regarding the opportunity size for the CDMO in Indian context and the scalability of our company And basically, if you can say something about it, sir, that's my first question.
Yes, scalability is not at all a problem. In the CDMO, there is a different connotation. If you are doing it for the NC-based things, it's all depending on the success of the molecules, then the scale-up things comes into the picture. But if you are talking about the generic or the specialty or something like that, that can be scaled up also. Scalability is not a problem. And as I was mentioning, the innovator customers are trying to expand their offering. I mean, not offering some of the outsourced activities, which will be very well for the Indian industry.
And second thing, sir, I remember you came with an IPO in mid-90s, and the CRAMS word for the first time was used by you. And you went in for the Suven Life Sciences, Alzheimer's, and other diseases. And so, does that foray into new chemical entity discovery, which was very, very unique for small Indian companies sitting in Hyderabad 20 years back, does that act as a differentiator for us in getting new business, giving big comfort to our MNC's customers? They appreciate it. And any other differentiator which you would like to highlight for Suven, sir?
See, in 1995, we went public and we have coined the phrase CRAMS at that time. And the Contract Research and Manufacturing Services. And the idea is at that time is when the 2005 comes in, when India becomes the IP protecting country, the same CRAMS, the connotation changes to collaborative research and manufacturing services, wherein you will be entering into the innovation. That's where we have gone into the innovation. And of course, the contract research part is continued. And unfortunately, even though we did more than 800 and odd projects, the only success has happened over the years only in 8 molecules. So that's the nature of the business it is. So over the years, we have built up the rapport and the supplies and commitments and by quality and the innovation we bring to the table. And recently, the last 3-4 years, we became the preferred suppliers to the 4 big Pharma. So yes, certainly this capability of discovering and developing on your own gives you some edge. But that doesn't mean the molecules we have been outsourced to work on, unless they go into the commercial angle, there will not be any success. As I was telling you, more than 800 molecules, only 8 gone into commercial. So yes, it has its things there, but it's not a guaranteed success based on that only.
Okay, sir. And how's the future looking like, sir? If you can tell something.
Yeah, it's now looking rosy, but only time will tell.
Thank you, sir. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management for closing comments.
Thank you once again, one and all who has tuned into this post-result conference call. And under the circumstances, we could manage to swim above the waters. And this year, as of now, looks okay, barring any things that can happen with the COVID situation, either here and in other countries. Things are moving very well, and hope to talk to you sometime in November. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Suven Pharmaceuticals, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining. You may now disconnect your lines.